That is where a lot of the disillusion and the disorientation, I think, comes from. People who grew up in church and then literally left or are not in church space currently right now is because of this thing, is because it was like, wait a minute, we were raised with unconditional love, agape love,
Yeah.
radical love, love your enemies. It's not like we don't know this stuff. That's why I think a lot of us kind of were just in shock of like the leaders that people are uplifting that are not espousing these types of treatments towards others. And so what can we do? I feel though like there are so many in the progressive side of things, and I don't like to talk about binaries because the world is so much bigger than that. But I do think that on the progressive side of things, we have a lot of agency to get up and to say, we are Christians, and this is not what we believe about how to treat other people. What's a call that you have for progressive pastors, priests, leaders, regular people, whether they identify as Christian or not, but they were raised with those values and they see what's happening in the world right now, and they're saying, this is wrong, and Jesus would be weeping. Jesus is crying right now. And we are the people that are supposed to be caring for the least of these.
Binaries are only helpful in the way that they're helpful, but to be conservative is to agree to the same thing. There's a doctrine, there's a creed that you agree to. That's part of it. It's a tradition. You're protecting what already is. Progressives, by definition, deviate from that. And one of the things that I've learned as I've become more progressive in my faith is that people deconstruct in wildly different ways. That's the diversity of progressive and deconstructed spaces, is we don't agree. But we as humans are deeply tribal. And so I've never met more gatekeepers in the church than in progressive spaces. Progressives are very careful about who they let in and who they let out. And for good reason, because they're trying to protect the vulnerable. So they're very careful about who they associate with, even more so than some of my evangelical friends. And so my call is institutions ask the question, who do we let in? Community organizing ask the question, what do we have in common that we can work towards together? We need affirming, justice-oriented Christians to accept the fact that we don't all agree. Some of us believe in the resurrection, some don't. Some believe in prayer, some don't. Some believe the Eucharist is this or that. I mean, there's just an immense amount of diversity. But willing to say, okay, yeah, we don't agree on everything, but what do we agree on that we're willing to work together? Because conservatives don't have that problem. They just like, well, we all agree. We signed on the dotted line. We already agree this, and this, and we've got our talking points. Progressives have to be willing to say, okay, we have to find what we have in common, and we have to find a way to work together. People are doing that every day in every city around the world, trying to ask the question, what do we have in common? How can we work together? I would love to see more evangelicals join that conversation, as well as any other progressives that are sitting on the sidelines. Like, get involved. Find an organization that's doing work in your local community. You might not agree with everything, but find something you do agree on and figure out a way to work together.